What if I told you that a single phone call could destroy an entire family in one night? That's exactly what happened in Washington state, where a seemingly ordinary evening turned into one of the most brutal crimes in recent memory. Picture this, it's a typical Friday night in January 2017. A family is relaxing at home, friends are over, everyone's unwinding after a long week. Then the phone rings. By the end of that night, 4 people would be dead, and their house would be nothing but ashes. But here's the twisted part, this wasn't random. Someone specifically wanted this family erased from existence. And the reason why will shock you. Let me paint you a picture of the Kuruga family. At the heart of this story was Johnny Kuruga, a 43-year-old businessman who seemed to have it all figured out. Sharp, successful, and genuinely liked by everyone in town. His wife, Crystal, was 37 and brought pure sunshine wherever she went. Together, they'd built something beautiful, a blended family that actually worked. They each brought a teenage son into their marriage. Jonathan and Hunter, both 16, weren't just stepbrothers, they were best friends. The kind of kids who filled the house with laughter and yes, typical teenage chaos. But they were good kids, and Johnny and Crystal were the glue holding it all together. On the surface, the Kurugas were living the American dream. Crystal ran a popular coffee stand, and together with Johnny, they owned a beloved Mexican restaurant. They were the kind of people you'd see at every school event, always smiling, always involved in their community. Everything looked perfect from the outside. But beneath that perfect surface, something dark was brewing. Something that would cost them everything. Here's where the story takes its first sinister turn. That Friday night started like any other. Crystal had friends over, nothing unusual there. Johnny was home too, but then he got that phone call. The one that changed everything. He told his family he needed to step out briefly to meet someone. "I'll be right back," he promised. And technically, he was right. Johnny did come back. But something was very, very wrong. Instead of coming inside, he stayed in the garage. One of the guests, sensing something off, went to check on him. What they heard next sent chills down their spine, 3 men having what sounded like a heated argument. That overheard conversation in the dark garage would be the last normal thing anyone would witness that night. Then came the call that would haunt emergency dispatchers forever. On the other end was 16-year-old Hunter, terrified and desperate. "My whole family's been shot," he begged. "Please hurry." But before he could say anything more, the line went dead. What happened next is almost too horrific to describe. In a final act of pure evil, Hunter was smothered with a pillow and then shot in the head. When first responders arrived, they found a scene from their worst nightmares, the entire house engulfed in flames, with 3 bodies inside. But wait, it gets worse. 2 days later, they found Johnny's body in a remote area, burned and shot, left inside his torch truck deep in the woods. Someone had followed him there, killed him, and tried to make it look like an accident. Now here's what's really chilling about this case. When investigators sifted through the burned remains of the house, they discovered something that changed everything. This wasn't just arson, it was a message. Fire logs soaked in accelerant had been deliberately placed on the beds where each victim died. Large rocks were thrown through windows to feed the flames with oxygen. Whoever did this didn't just want them dead, they wanted to erase every trace of this family's existence. But here's the kicker, in the master bedroom, tucked away in a strongbox, was over $50,000 in cash. The killers didn't take a single penny. So if this wasn't about money, what could possibly motivate someone to wipe out an entire family? The answer lies in Johnny's secret double life. While he was running a family restaurant by day, by night he was involved in something much more dangerous, cocaine trafficking. He was reportedly bringing back kilos from California every few months, distributing them throughout the county. And some of his customers? They were members of one of the most dangerous motorcycle gangs in the world, the Bandidos. Let me tell you about the Bandidos, because they're not your typical motorcycle club. To law enforcement agencies worldwide, they're classified as a criminal organization. We're talking about people convicted of everything from drug trafficking to murder, extortion to money laundering. In Washington state alone, they have 14 chapters, and they're notorious for methamphetamine distribution and violent crime. Johnny had been selling cocaine to a friend who was doing business with a high-ranking Bandidos member named Robert "Bobby" Watson. When that friend backed out, it forced Johnny into direct contact with Watson. And that's when everything went sideways. Johnny made one of his regular California runs, but this time Bobby Watson followed him. They had a heated confrontation, words were exchanged, tempers flared, and lines were crossed. Whatever happened during that argument, it signed Johnny's family's death warrant. But here's where this story gets even more twisted. The man suspected of orchestrating this massacre wasn't just some random criminal. Bobby Watson was the vice president of the Bandidos Bellingham chapter. And he didn't work alone. His accomplices included his own brother Johnny Watson, who wasn't even affiliated with the gang, and the most heartbreaking betrayal of all, Danny Kelly Jr. Danny Kelly had once been Johnny Karuga's best friend. So close, in fact, that Johnny chose him as his best man at his wedding. But their friendship soured when Johnny accused Danny of stealing from him. By the time of the murders, Danny was trying to earn his place in the Bandidos, wearing their supporter gear and desperately wanting to prove himself worthy. Think about that for a moment. Your best man, the person you trusted most in the world, becomes the person who helps orchestrate your family's murder. After years of investigation, involving a dedicated task force, the FBI, and countless hours of detective work, all three men were finally arrested. They pleaded not guilty to 16 felony charges each, including aggravated murder and arson. The judge denied them bail and forbade any contact between them. In April 2024, justice was finally served. All three men were found guilty on 30 counts and sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. No second chances, no hope of freedom, they'll spend the rest of their lives behind bars. During the sentencing, Hunter's mother brought his ashes to court in an urn, placing it next to his photo while family members spoke about their devastating loss. 8 relatives addressed the court, sharing memories of their loved ones and urging the judge to deliver the harshest penalties possible. The family described the evil they felt just being in the same room as these men. The pain that has haunted them since that January night in 2017 was palpable in every word they spoke. This case serves as a chilling reminder of how violence can ripple far beyond its immediate victims, touching entire communities and leaving scars that may never fully heal. What started as a business dispute in the criminal underworld ended with the complete destruction of an innocent family. The Karuga family thought they were building a life together. Instead, they became victims of a world they never fully understood they were part of. Their story shows us how quickly everything can change, how secrets can destroy lives, and how justice, while sometimes delayed, can still prevail. As we close this dark chapter, we're left wondering how many other families might be quietly caught in the crossfire of violence and secrets we'll never fully comprehend. What do you think about this case? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if this story kept you engaged from start to finish, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more true crime content that digs deep into the cases that shocked the world.